Hello and welcome to Real Awake and Wild. My name is Monique Gomez, your guide to becoming spiritually embodied, learning all about conscious sexuality, and awaken to the truth of who you are. Today we're talking about positive and negative relationship experiences and how they affect us. So your experiences of relationship from day one, this includes parental relationships, they all come together to create something that is uniquely you, right? So your unique story. Each relationship and how we work in relationship basically creates a lens in which we see the world and we see others. And these create beliefs about certain things or ideas that we can hold as truth to ourselves. So when we're talking about positive and negative relationship and those experiences that create these lenses, it's important to reflect on them because we want to know what is truly ours and what is a belief that was created for something that we can let go of, okay? So when we have a relationship experience, it can be really positive. Like we could really learn about confidence, right? Or we can learn about trusting others or what love really feels like. But then there's a flip side of that where when we relate to people, it can be kind of on a negative side where we actually feel really small or we get put down or we learn distrust. And so all of these experiences basically affect who you are today. And what this is all about is learning how to see the positive, more uplifting or more true experiences, as these and create tools out of them. And learn how to let go of some of the negative beliefs that we have due to some of these experiences by self-reflecting and getting curious. That's all it's about, is curiosity. So when we get stuck in certain negative perceptions of ourselves or how we relate to people or what relationships are, it can cause a lot of heaviness in our emotional world. When we think sometimes humans, we make blanket statements about people, communities, things like that. So this week is all about questioning blanket statements that we have. But I also want to put in here that, as humans, we are meant to connect. It is in our DNA to find others, to find community. Just on a pure physiological level, we are wired to look for others to do life with because it's safer, survival-wise, in a survival perspective, right? So of course, there's exceptions to rules, and some people prefer more of an isolated life. But in general, we are meant to connect and relate and create relationships, right? So the trick to healing any of like the heavy feeling that has been created around our relating to others is bringing the heaviness, bringing that darkness into the light. So what I mean by that is getting curious about the feeling that comes up when maybe we have to relate to somebody that we might not really be excited about relating to, or we have an interaction with somebody that kind of triggers or turns on this feeling in our body, like an anxiety or a tightness. Anytime those things come up, that's a cue for curiosity. So really figuring out how to bring the pain, the stuff that we really don't typically want to look at, into the place, like into the light. What I like to think of is, when we bring kind of the crap stuff to the table and we put it into the light, a lot of times the fear of it goes away. So we have it on the table, right? Bring the shit to the table, basically, and lay it all out to see it. This can be pretty scary, and it's work, and it's being committed to this kind of healing. But when you do this, you can let go of this heaviness, and you can let go of the pain of relating to others, whether it's your spouse, your partner, your parents, your children, your friends. Usually in relationship, things come up, and the things that come up are the stuff that, is kind of the place of insecurities or these deep beliefs that we've created from previous relationships. So this is obviously easier said than done, so this takes time. But just remember that you don't have to just let things go. letting things go is just a very like easy way to brush it off. What this is getting curious about it. So what is it that I want to let go of? How do I let this go? And the first step is bringing it to light and getting conscious about it. Because when you have it in your awareness, then you have a choice. And remember, choice equals freedom. And that's what we want, because when you're free, then you have freedom to be authentically you, to really live a life where your heart and your truth is guiding the way, and you're not getting blinded, and you're not seeing through a lens that is shutting you down, or beliefs that are not yours, that they come from other people, or that you created when you were a very young person that don't really need to be yours anymore, okay? So another really important aspect of relationship is you have a relationship with yourself. And when you dive into self-reflection and you dive into this kind of work, you are actually cultivating your relationship with self. So you are showing self-love, you are showing self-care. And this is by far the most important relationship that you are going to have, right? So creating this curiosity is for you more than anyone else, because it's your relationship with self that is number one. All right, so I just have a couple questions that will get you started into this curious mode around relating. So, what, just in general, what is something that you feel intuitively that you want to bring to light? This is a way that you can, these prompts can help you. You can journal about it. You can create art around it. You can talk to a really good friend about it, and just meditate on it. So a lot of these questions are kind of deep, and so make sure it's a safe place that you're going to when you're speaking to these. So what is something that you're ready to bring to light? Okay. What is something about relationship that you struggle with? Just get really curious about that. Is it people who, if it's a partnership, is it commitment, or is it monogamy, or is it, control, or, all of these things that can come up with relationship. So choose a relationship that you want to focus on, and then get curious about what is it that you struggle with in that relationship. And then the next question is, how do you see it changing from a struggle to an actual ease or peace, right? So struggle is usually a lot of tightness, right? So if you think about that, and then the opposite of that is an opening. So what is this opening that needs to happen? How do you see that? What is that to you? Get very creative. Let your imagination just run wild while you can contemplate these. And then lastly, how can you find more love for yourself during this process of getting curious? So that one is my ultimate favorite question, because we always, need to find love for ourselves as we move through this world, and as we're waking up, and as we're becoming consciously aware and awake and love, and especially in our sensuality and sexual world. To be conscious in that space requires us to really find love for self. All right, that is this week's Real Awaken Wild. Don't forget to head over to MoniqueGomez.com, where there's a lot more about embodiment, conscious sexuality, and awakening authenticity. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the email list, where I get to share a lot more goodies and just freebies, inspirations, and basically love I don't get to share anywhere else. So until next time, my friend, stay curious.